Hello.
How's it going?
Good. I'm fine.
Good to
It's
see
the
you.
morning. It's not sunshine yet.
Sabah al khair.
I pray Fajr and enter the Kalingo.
That's great. I've been bad. I haven't even prayed Maghrib yet, and it's time for Isha already.
Oh,
I had 3 back-to-back classes, so I'm going to pray after, I guess.
okay.
Yeah, it's good to see you there. How was your day yesterday? Did you do anything interesting?
Mm. Actually, I take a lot of Kalingo classes yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and then I feel a headache, so I go to sleep several hours.
Uh-huh.
So I was waking in early time. I think I am awake from since 1 a.m. until now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, and so you've been up for like 6 hours, maybe 5 hours.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time. Are you not, you don't feel tired right now?
No. After your class, I will go to sleep.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. That's great. So, yeah, Emmy, have you met Heidi before?
Yes, I think. Hi, Heidi.
Yeah, twice maybe.
Yes, twice.
What time?
Fantastic.
What time is it?
What time?
Yeah,
What time did I meet you?
yeah, your place.
Yes.
She wants.
No, this place is just noon, 12. So I wonder, what time is it in your place?
Yes, it's 6 a.m. already now.
6 a.m.
Yes.
Oh.
6 hours
Yes,
behind you
because-
guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Emmy, go ahead.
I didn't. I just want to tell her that I didn't get sleep until now. So after the class, I will go to sleep.
Great. So today, actually, we're going to give a couple more minutes, but I'm always fascinated when we talk about technology. It's one of the things that I love to talk about with you guys. Is it something? So when did cell phones become popular in Saudi, Emmy? Did they become popular maybe 5, 6 years ago, or more recently?
No, I think it's five. It's far from 5, 6 years. It's. I think it's.
Maybe 10?
Yes, in 19s, I think there was cell phones, and I think there's a rich people here, so they use the cell phones, I think, before Americans.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, some people, fewer people use it in 19s, but it spread in 2000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think definitely the international boom in cell phone usage happened kind of around the turn of the century. So the 2000-2001 mark, it was getting more affordable, and I think by 2003 it became very affordable. So even in countries like Bangladesh and India, in Bangladesh right now, right, we are considered an extremely poor country, right? I mean, uh, always having trouble with the economy and things like that. There are people like, very, very, very poor people, even they can afford a cell phone.
Yes,
It's
that's the
dirt
problem.
cheap. It's dirt cheap now. I mean, you can get a phone, you can get credit, you can have a, conversation with anybody. So everybody is interconnected now, even in a society like Bangladesh. So
I remember I was in 2000, I think. My sister live in United States. I tell her about the new phones, cell phones. She said, "I don't buy it. I will not use it. Why you buy these cell phones?" She can't send SMS on it. It was so hard for her. She said, I just hold it in my car for emergency calls.
Hmm.
I think no, we are in Saudi Arabia. Yes, use it before normal Americans in United States.
Hmm. Yeah, even in the 90s, I remember my father's first cell phone was maybe this big,
Yes,
right? You couldn't fold it, you couldn't do anything. It was just like a large phone, and he kept it in the car. He kept it in the car for emergencies.
yes, and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
The first cell phone was 100 riyals. No, it's 1000 riyals, and that's why multiply it with 3.7 now for dollars. It's a huge. It's so expensive.
Yeah. And now, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? It's like even kids have cell phones.
Yes, and iPads. A lots of I think in Saudi Arabia because it's a rich country. The little kids have iPads. I don't have iPad, but the little boys, yes, they have, and not all sharing one device. Everyone have one.
They each have their own.
Yes.
MashaAllah. This is the new generation here. So they are, even before they learn how to write, they are learning how to type.
Yes, and the little babies now it's finger use the finger to the screens and open YouTubes and something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes.
I remember when I was growing up, we had things called pen and
Yes.
paper, you know. I
Cup.
think, yeah, these kids don't even know what a pen is. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Heidi,
Yes.
is it the same in Japan? When did cell phones become popular? You guys, I think, invented cell phones. Maybe it was always there.
Yes, yes. It's more already many years ago, about 15 years ago. Japan created some cell phone, but
Uh-huh.
Motorola sued that company to the court,
Hmm.
infringement of copyright.
Hmm.
Then we Japanese people used to that from that time, but it was getting popular around 10 years ago. But I hated the cell phone because people using cell phones are quite rude. I thought so.
Hmm.
In a coffee shop, suddenly they started talking very loudly.
Uh-huh. That's
Uh,
something
are
that,
uh,
yeah,
are
go
the
ahead.
children also
So
use
at that
it?
time, I hated that cell phone. Still now, I hate cell phone. I don't want to have that.
I mean, go ahead.
Uh,
You're asking a question, yeah.
I want to ask her, are the children there also have cell phones by uh, own cell phones for themselves? Heidi?
No, I can't understand your question.
You can ask it again, Emmy. Let's ask it one more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ask you about the children there in Japan. Do they have cell phones? Do they own cell phones for themselves also, like us here?
I'm sorry.
No,
But
Heidi. So she's asking, are the kids in Japan? Do they each have their own cell phones, iPads, and stuff? Is it just like in her country? Because Emmy said that in Saudi Arabia, even the children have their own iPads now and their own cell phones. Is that the same case in Japan?
yeah, I think so. There
I
are
think
sometimes they happen a kidnap case, so parents are afraid of that.
parents are afraid of their kids getting kidnapped because of
Yes,
iPads.
yeah. So it has a kind of a GPS function, right? So
Yeah.
people want to know where their kids is now.
It's actually a very dangerous thing when you give technology like that to children because, I mean, you don't really know what the kids are accessing or what they are learning. And, I mean, the internet is a free world, right? I mean, so many things are available, and I feel like there's limited control of what the kids would see. You know, it's a little dangerous. I mean, I think maybe parents should be more cautious of what they give their kids and the people that maybe the kids are talking to when they're online and connecting with when they're, you know, if they each have their own phone, are this independent, you know what I mean?
Yes,
I don't
and
know.
that's have we heard a lot of stories about that, especially in the games online now. So the children he can play with foreign people or someone he don't know. So and you know there is a chatting with the game all the time. I think most of games are like this.
Hmm.
So even the kids lying about her or his age. So he meeting older people, and this is dangerous for them also.
Hmm. Absolutely. I play those games. Okay, I play those games, but I'm 24. Like I started playing those games when I was, I don't know, 15, and sometimes I lied too. Like, yeah, I'm 18 and I bought the, you know, I was able
Yes,
to
but
play the game.
their ages are
11,
older.
10.
Yes, they are 9,
Wow.
7. Yes, because they don't by chance or by they use it or they contact with people they don't know.
Hmm.
And the most problem that I think the mothers can't play the games, so and the parents cannot use the games, so they don't know what's going with their
Yeah,
children.
the parents have no way to know what's going on, right? Exactly.
Yes.
Because it's a
Last,
different world.
last year it became very big issue, and the game maker offering the free game, it's
Hmm.
kind of fighting. Usually it's for free, but if they buy some special tool, they're getting stronger. Then they wanted to show their special tool to other friends. Then children bought a lot of things. Finally, charge came to parents. Parents were very surprised.
Hmm. Yeah, you know, it's sad. People don't really understand the level of information that you can share online. And I mean, with some of these games, like these shooting games, I play them every once in a while, and I have my Bluetooth, so sometimes I'm talking to people as we're playing because you know there's some strategy involved. You have to you have to you know figure out what is happening. You have to be able to you know, as a team attack the enemy. And the kids that I listen to, their voices are clearly they have not they're not teenagers. You know,
Mm.
they are maybe 9, just like Emmy was saying, 9, 10 years old. You just from their voices you can tell. And people like me, like we are much older. We sometimes are saying bad words. We are swearing. I mean, things are changing on the in the game, and we are, you know, we are amongst a bunch of 24-year-olds, it's normal to speak like that, right? Or we understand what we are saying and we're laughing. But these
Yes.
kids, they have no idea. They're learning these bad words and they are saying these bad words back to us,
Yes.
you know? So one of my friends, he's very funny. One time we were playing this game and we were swearing at each other, and this kid swore at us. Like we were saying bad words. He swore at us, and my friend said, "Why don't you first wait until you see, you know, hair on your face before you say those words, right? Because these kids are so young, right?
Yes.
It's very, very, very bad. I mean,
Mm.
if my mother knew what I was doing online, like in these games, she would be concerned, and I'm 24, right?
Yes.
But these kids, I don't know, their parents are maybe have no idea what's going on. It's very difficult.
Yes.
So anyway, guys, it's about 18 minutes past the hour. Let's get started with our lesson for today. And it's actually an interesting lesson. I like this lesson because we are talking about phrasal verbs. Verbs are actually verbs that are, when you look at them, they don't seem like they're normal verbs, right? They express ideas that are different than than the words look like when we are looking at the words normally. So, for example, one example of a phrasal verb is to find out. What does to find out mean?
To discover.
To discover, fantastic, right? But when you read the phrase to find out, you don't really know. You might think it means to find something, right? And it does. Discovering is kind of like finding something, but the out really doesn't help a lot. So as a phrase find out is much more difficult to understand if you're not a native speaker. If you haven't heard this phrase before, it's difficult to figure out, right? So another example, for example, is to call off. Heidi, what does to call off mean? Exactly, to cancel something, right? So would you be able to tell if you didn't know that word, if you were just beginning to learn English, would you know that call off means to cancel?
No.
Maybe not, right? I mean, I think it would be difficult to know. So
Yes, I know. This is the first time I know this word.
Yeah, so to call off something, right? To call off means to cancel. So let's say tomorrow morning, Obama calls off his plan to attack Syria. Okay? It's not going to happen because he talked with me and he said he's going to attack Syria. But he didn't talk to me. That was just a joke. Yeah, I think Heidi's maybe didn't see that I was joking. Heidi, Obama did not talk to me. I'm not that important. So anyway, so yeah, to call off is to cancel, right? So for example, a lot of times we use it for meetings. My supervisor called off the meeting. My boss called off the meeting. Canceled the meeting. We called it off. And that's actually a really, really common verb, actually. Some of these are much more common than other verbs, right? Hey, Osama, how's it going? Okay, we'll get back to him. I think maybe he just logged on, so it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so another couple examples of phrasal verbs, right? So we looked at to find out, and we looked at to call off. And what about to pick out? What do you think pick out means, Emmy?
I think
To
taking
pick out.
something.
Taking something. Yeah, good, very good. You're very close. To pick out something is to select something or to choose something.
For example, I go to the airport to pick you up, like that.
That's pick up. This is to pick out.
Pick out.
Yeah, so to pick out something.
I choose someone.
Fantastic. So Emmy and Heidi, you guys are both thinking the same thing. To pick out something is to choose something.
Among several of the same kind of things.
Among several options. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So when I went to the store, I decided to pick out some vegetables. I picked out some vegetables. I picked out some clothes, right? I chose some clothes. Maybe I like the blue one, maybe I like the red one, maybe I like the orange one. I chose all of them, right? I picked them out, right? Other examples of phrasal verbs, right? I want you guys to actually...
Please.
Yeah, I'll write it down right now. Let's see, one sec. To pick out. Pick out. The website has a list of not all, it has a list of many phrasal verbs. And native speakers use these phrasal verbs all the time. We use these phrasal verbs all the time. So, I mean, it's an alphabetical order, so it's actually very, very well organized. and we have a lot of examples. Something that I think will be a good reference for you guys as you develop your understanding of phrasal verbs and learn about what these are. And so, any questions, guys, initially on what it means, what these phrasal verbs mean? Osama, can you hear us now?
Yes, teacher. Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I live in Saudi Arabia.
You're from where, I'm sorry?
I live in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, fantastic. So Emmy and you are from the same country. What part of Saudi?
I live in Mecca.
Mecca, Mecca al-Mukarramah, fantastic. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
So, fantastic. So, what we are talking about so far, Osama, is we have been talking about phrasal verbs. Did you get a chance to hear what I was saying at the beginning?
Just 2 minutes ago, I guess.
2 minutes ago, yeah. So that's kind of when we started.
About pick out, I guess.
Yeah, about pick out, right? So this link that I sent the guys on the right, do you have access to the Colingo chat as well?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So that last link that I sent actually has a list of many, many phrasal verbs. And we were just going through an example, a few examples. So we said to pick out, to call off something is to cancel something, right? So those are all different examples of, you know, phrasal verbs that native speakers use a lot, actually. So do we have any questions about the ones we covered so far? Osama, Heidi, or Emmy, do we have any questions about those ones?
No.
Okay, great, great, fantastic. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I try to, every time I give a class, I want people to ask me questions. Interrupt me, you know, just speak over me. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to care. You know, stop me from saying what I'm saying if you guys have a question. So, okay. And so another thing about phrasal verbs that's actually very interesting is just like we use other verbs in different scenarios, right? So let's say you can make a verb a past tense, present progressive, past perfect, whatever. I mean, there are so many ways you can change verbs in English. That's just the way English works. That's the way any language works. Phrasal verbs are the same exact way. You can change a phrasal verb to match the situation, right? So, for example, if we use call off to call off something, right? We can conjugate, we can change this verb to any form that we want. We can say, he calls off his meetings on Fridays. He calls off his meetings on Fridays. That is an example of the present tense, right? He calls off his meetings. He called off his meeting last week because he was sick, right? He is calling off his meeting right now because he needs to go somewhere, right? She will call off her meeting. They had called off the meeting. These are all examples of call off, and we are changing it to be any scenario whatsoever. So let me give you guys a challenge now, okay? We are going to choose one of these verbs from that website, and let us look at the verb. I want to find a good one. Let us use a verb, get away. Get away, okay? Actually, no, that's a bad one because there's multiple types. Let's not do get away. Let's do look after. Look after. What does look after mean? It's on the website also, but
Very
I think
similar
it's
to
kind.
someone.
say that again. You guys all said it at the same time.
Very similar to someone.
Look after? No, it's not very
Yeah.
similar to someone. No.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like take care or something like that. Like you look after your dad. Or
Fantastic.
You look after your daughter.
Fantastic. To look after someone or something is to take care of someone or something. Exactly. So in many examples, for example, just like Osama said, the child is looked after by his parents. Okay? Or you can say, for example, if you're an older brother or sister, last night I had to look after my baby sister because my parents were not home, right? These are all examples of look after. So, Emmy, let me ask you, how would you, let's make a sentence using look after in the past tense. Give me one example. Anything that you want. Let's say you're talking about your parents were gone last week and you had to take care of your grandparents. Let's use that example.
Okay.
So we're using look
I
after,
had
right?
yes.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I had to look after my sisters.
Yeah, when, for example, last week or something, right? So, okay, that's good. But you said, you actually changed it a little bit. So you were saying I had to, did you say looked after?
Yes.
So if you're making it had, right, that's talking about the past perfect tense, right? So if you say had, you don't have to say looked, you can just keep it look,
Yes.
right? So how would you, so then now let's try to say the sentence one more time.
Okay. Mm.
It wouldn't be I had
I
to, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
okay.
Yeah, you got it.
I looked after my sisters when my parents go.
Fantastic. I looked after my sister when my parents left.
Yes.
Left, right? Because go would be present tense. We want to make it past tense. Or if you want to use had, you can say, I had to look after my sisters. Right? Because when you're using had to, the verb look stays in its same form. It's the past participle. Right?
Okay.
So we would say had to look. I had to look after. Or same thing in the present. I have to look after my sisters, for example, right?
Okay.
So good job on that, but just that was the one difference. Heidi, give me an example with look after in the future tense.
Future tense.
Yeah.
I look after my parents.
So you said I'll look after my parents in the future, right?
After my father's retirement.
I'll look after my parents after my father's retirement. Fantastic. Fantastic, right? Once again, we didn't change the form of look after because Heidi used will, right? I will or I'll look after. So great job on that. Osama, let me give you a little bit of a difficult example here. How would you use look after in the present progressive form? If that's something you don't know, let me know.
Okay, I'll try.
Sure.
Uh, uh, looking after. Right now, I'm looking after uh, my daughter. Yes.
Mia fil mia.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm looking after my daughter. Fantastic. Present perfect, present progressive. Right now, I am looking after my daughter. Beautiful. Beautiful. Very well done. Do we have any questions about that? So, do we understand how...
Yes. I have
go
a
ahead.
question.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Amy.
What's the regressive you said?
Progressive? Present
Yes.
progressive. Present progressive is... Progressive is when we have a verb that we are talking about something that is happening right now, right? So progressive means something that is in progress, that is happening right now, right? So the way that we make sentences present progressive, excuse me, is we usually just add ing to the end of the verb, right?
So
I
it's
am...
continuous, right?
Yeah, exactly. Continuous and present
Yes.
progressive, same thing.
Yes. Okay.
Same thing. I said it differently. So present progressive and present continuous. Yep,
Okay.
same thing. I am looking after my sister. I am doing my homework. Those are all examples of that. Fantastic. So now, let us read this article. And I am very excited because this article is, to me, it's a very funny article. And it is talking about North Korea's first smartphone. Okay? And I think Heidi knows very well. I've done a few articles on North Korea before. And this article is, to me, it's very interesting because I am surprised that this country that is so reclusive, right? I mean, no one can get in, no one can get out, no one knows what's going to happen, nuclear weapons, no nuclear weapons. They have made their own smartphone. So somebody has a rooster, right?
Yeah, I guess it is 6 a.m. It's my roster, I think.
Fantastic.
My
You have a
roster, I guess.
natural alarm clock. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, really nice. I have never heard a rooster in my life, like in front of me, for example, doing that in the early morning. I think it's very special. So this right here is this Christian Science Monitor article about the North Korean smartphone. And Christian Science Monitor is a very good magazine. I suggest, or a very good newspaper. I suggest you guys, if you guys want to read about very interesting topics, CNN, BBC, those garbage newspapers and channels, they don't talk about interesting stuff for me. They talk about just politics and garbage. CS Monitor, Huffington Post, they do a really good job. They talk about some really interesting stuff. So what I'm going to do, guys, is you guys have the link. I'm going to see if I can share my screen and to share my screen, and so you guys can follow along with me. 1 second here, so you guys can follow along. Let's see if my screen share actually works. Fantastic. So my screen share is working, and I'm going to go to Christian Science Monitor article. And also, you guys can open it up in your own window. Do we have it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Osama's got it. Heidi's got it. Emmy, do you see it as well? Let's see, is Emmy here?
Yes, I can.
You guys, okay, fantastic, fantastic. Okay. North Korea now has its own smartphone, state media reports. North Korea is now manufacturing its own smartphones, according to a report recently released by the country's Korean Central News Agency. And let's look at the picture. The Arirang phone, an Android smartphone that North Korea says it has begun manufacturing. Right? North Korea has a new patriotic activity, cell phone production. The country's leader, Kim Jong-un, made an on-site guidance visit to a cell phone manufacturing area in the May 11 factory, according to the state-run Korean Central News Agency. Kim Jong-un highly appreciated the creative ingenuity and patriotic enthusiasm with which the officials and employees of the factory have been manufacturing the devices, according to KCNA's article. The cell phone model has been dubbed Arirang, after the Korean folk song. The leader also expressed his pleasure with the creative ingenuity and patriotic enthusiasm with which the officials and employees of the factory laid a solid foundation for mass-producing hand phones, referring to the new cell phone factory. This is the first time that Kim has offered his approval to the widespread production and ownership of cell phones in North Korea. If it seems odd that North Korea is encouraging its citizens to get mobile phones, considering the role of mobile technologies in popular uprisings in other countries, that's because it is, or at least a bit. Currently, koryolink is North Korea's only 3G network. The company is owned by the Egyptian Orascom Telecom Holding and the Korea Post and Telecommunications Corporation. Since its founding in 2008, the network has amassed 2 million subscribers, providing users with access to voice, text message, and web browsing activities, according to the North Korean tech blog. But the government-controlled koryolink network's limitations, of which there are many, has caused some North Koreans to seek out other internet options. We don't care about this. North Koreans living within a radius of about 12 miles of the Chinese border have the illegal option of connecting to the Chinese mobile network, according to a Reporters Without Borders report, though it is unclear how frequently this occurs. The high cost of data plans and the state's surveillance system have kept any threats that cell phones might bring to the government at a very low level, and providing legal cell phones could stave off demand for the contraband. In an odd twist, Martin Williams from North Korea Tech expressed his skepticism that North Korea has the capabilities to manufacture cell phones, suggesting that perhaps the devices were made in China in the first place. Right? So, very interesting article, guys. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to loop it back so you guys can see my pretty face. And now the next part, so what is our reaction to this, guys? North Korea is saying that they have their first domestic cell phone. What do we think? Is it fake? Is it made in China? Is it garbage? Is it good? What do we think?
It's unuseful, I think,
Uh-huh.
because it has a lots of limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's made by Korean peoples or Chinese peoples, I think it's very limited applications on it. Even it's with Android, okay, but I think they will not be able to go YouTube or any.
Sheikh
any
Google.
global.
Sheikh Google.
Yes, yes, Sheikh Google.
Yeah, they won't be able to find Sheikh Google. They won't be able to find YouTube. Or I mean, why is that? Why are there restrictions there in North Korea? Osama, do you know about the restrictions in North Korea? Do you agree with Emmy that it might be difficult for the people?
I don't know much about what's going on in North Korea, but I think it's the first, I think, cell phone. It's kind of be a simple cell phone. I don't think that I don't think the cell phone will be so developed or so I think
Advanced, right?
so smart, advanced, yeah, like that. I think it's gonna be like basic cell phone, I guess, because it's the first smartphone like that.
Yeah. And Heidi, you live pretty close. I think you're very educated about a lot of this stuff. North Korea, Japan is always kind of involved in anything that involves North Korea. But do you agree that it's a little bit surprising? The author of the article was saying that it's surprising that with all of the revolutions in the world, like with, the Arab Spring and with all of these countries that are becoming liberated or crazy or wars, cell phones are a big part of the social media movement, right? So
American companies are outsourcing China, Chinese companies, right? And the Chinese companies are outsourcing the product to North Korea because
you think?
the wage is very low. So they use the North Korean people and a lot of money. Then they already know how to make the cell phone.
So do you think this phone is not even North Korean? Is it actually Chinese?
I think it's a North Korean product. Because they know how to make the cell phone. And there has a limitation because there are many poor people. The government doesn't want the people to know the information from other countries. And the level is much different.
But then why now though? Why now would Kim Jong-un come out and say, "Oh, I love this cell phone. We should make this cell phone"?
Only Pyongyang. Maybe people in Pyongyang, the level is much different from other countryside. So they already know how the other countries' level is. It's much different. But only Pyongyang is a kind of showcase of North Korea. So they poured a lot of money only the people in Pyongyang. they had a very good education. Even they are learning computer or a lot of things, and they can speak several languages.
Yeah, I mean Kim Jong Un himself was educated in Switzerland. You said, right?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
People living in Pyongyang is kind of elite. So
Yeah.
maybe cell phone they can use in only the Pyongyang. Maybe they can't connect to other side, another country.
Do you
Because
think? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead,
I
Amy.
think it's an open world now, and North Korean peoples are not closed as the government want. So a few years I saw on National Geographic program about even the tourists and any foreign people from the airport, they taken all the technology stuff from them, so not entering the country. uh, I think that's because they don't want the people to discover what's happened in the outward. But a lot of Northern Korean, I think they can go out and they saw that a lot of technologies, and that will make problems for the country inside, not just outside, as it appears. So I think they made it. Yes, in North. I am sure it's in North Korean because the limitation is. I think it's so hard. Uh, it's a lot of limitations. So it's not just block some sites. I think they build few sites and few applications for them, for the people there, and only this. Without so they just want the people be silent, or they want the people silent, and they give them as a toys to play with, and and don't demand for more.
Yeah, I mean, this North Korean society, like, I've seen some National Geographic documentaries as well on this. Maybe we saw the same ones, but, they were, for something as simple as, like, Kim Jong-un or the supreme leader or whatever, when they, for example, anything that he does is a cause for celebration in the country, right? So if he says, for example, we are releasing cell phones for you, my beloved North Korean people, I'm giving you cell phones, they will all say, oh, glory to our leader, right? So, I mean, they don't even know what the cell phone is. I mean, maybe the people outside the capital have never seen a cell phone, right?
do you remember at first we started using a cell phone that time? On the top of the buildings there are antenna, right?
Mm-hmm.
From antenna we can receive the sound.
The
Maybe
signals, yeah.
system is signals. Maybe system is that same, not from out of space.
Yeah, maybe it's just in North Korea, yeah.
Yes, only inside of Korea they can use it.
Yeah, so maybe one of the limitations, like we were talking with Emmy when you were saying, Emmy, about the limitations, maybe the technology that's built into these cell phones limits access to the outside world because maybe it's using much older technology. It might not be using 3G, it might not be using internet, Wi-Fi, satellite connections, those kinds of things. Because that way they can control their people, right? I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me because if I was Kim Jong-un, I don't want people to start reading about South Korea, reading about change and democracy and food and, having a future, right? I mean, people in Pyongyang don't care, but maybe people outside, millions of people outside, they would care that their country is in such a bad position.
They can connect only inside, but if the people were given the cell phone, maybe they are very glad. They make some misunderstand or level is the same as other countries, but actually it's not cell phone like other countries. they can't connect to other countries. They can't use Facebook or Skype or that kind of things.
Yeah, like Google Hangouts. I don't think I can ever get a North Korean student on Kolingo.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's impossible because they can't connect outside their country. That's the way the situation is, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, so do we have any questions on the article so far? I mean, anything that we talked about, looked at, reactions? Did you guys all understand the article? You guys are all okay? Oh, okay. Emmy says yes. Heidi, I think also. And Osama, did you have any questions about the article? Ingenuity. Great question. Ingenuity. What is ingenuity? Ingenuity is being ingenious. What is ingenious? Ingenious means somebody who is creative, somebody who is taking a problem, for example, and coming up with a very amazing solution for it. Exactly. Someone who is clever, someone who is intelligent from a creative perspective. Intelligent and clever from a creative perspective. So, for example, the iPhone is an example of ingenuity, right? You take a small device, it has a camera, it can do so many things, it can have so many apps, it's a very versatile, very functional device, right? You can use it for a phone, you can use it for music, you can use it for videos, you can use it to communicate, count your calories, look after your kids, read a book, you can do anything. Really, a lot of different things. So discovering and designing the iPhone was an act of ingenuity. It was an act of genius, of being an ingenious people came up with the idea of making the iPhone, creating the iPhone. So that is the definition of ingenuity. Being the state of being very clever, intelligent in a very creative way, especially solving solutions, solving problems, coming up with solutions in that sense. Any other questions, guys? You guys aren't talking. Like, am I boring you? Like, what's going on?
No, but it's just kind of I just woke up.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah, I
kind of
know.
morning now.
You guys are both in super time zones, right? Yeah. Patriotic and okay, so yeah, patriotic is to love one's country, right? So a patriotic person loves his or her own country. They have a strong sense of identity with their country. So a patriotic person will probably wave the flag of their country and be very, always talking about their country's history, always loving their country. That's the definition. So, like, for example, who is a patriotic person in, like, some country? Let's say, we don't really have that many heroes that are patriotic in like, America, I should say. We have a lot of fake patriots.
Politicians.
But, yeah, there are, patriotic generally is, yeah, somebody who loves their country. Soldiers, maybe.
So lots of them in the National Day parties.
Like you're talking about in Saudi?
Yes, I think in every country, in National Day, in the National Day
Celebrations, yeah.
Yes, celebrations.
We don't have. We don't have such festival.
Nothing National Day, yeah.
Such holiday.
I mean, I don't know, like, who is patriotic? I don't know. Like, I can't think of a famous, okay, like Gandhi.
I have a question.
Gandhi is patriotic for India. Yeah, go ahead.
Question.
Absolutely.
My sister is living in Germany, right?
Yeah.
She loves Japan very much. But she has a child. It's like you. She was born in Germany. Then maybe she will grow up in Germany. Which country do you like?
Which country does she like?
You.
Oh, which country do I like?
Yes.
So this is my situation, right? I was born in Saudi Arabia. But then I moved to the U.S. when I was shukran gazilan ya Osama, shukran gazilan. I moved to the U.S. when I was 3 years old, right? So, and my parents are not Saudi. My parents are from Bangladesh. So I am a confused person, okay? So like you look at my passport is American, but it says born in Saudi Arabia. Khalas. I go to the airport, you know, please sir, stand here. Okay, I'm done, you know? Like, you know, Muhammad is my middle name. I mean, everywhere I go, people are like, this guy is an Arab. I'm like, no, I'm not an Arab. I was just born in Saudi Arabia, but, you know, it's my parents are from Bangladesh. I mean, why does that matter? It shouldn't matter, right? I mean, America is supposed to be land of the free, home of the brave. Everyone is welcome, right? So sometimes it's difficult, but for me, honestly, because I've lived 21 years in America or something like that, I would say that my loyalty is definitely to America. But I mean, like culturally, I'm American, but also like my religion is important to me. My my parents' culture is very important to me, right? So it's a mix. I mean, with a lot of kids in America with my background, their backgrounds are usually not as crazy as me. So most of my friends are born in America, so they are 100% American, but they are also, for example, I have friends from Lebanon, I have friends from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all the different countries in the world, Iran, you know, tons of countries. Their friends are they were born here, and their parents are from those countries, so they have both cultures in their lives. In terms of loyalty, I would say most of them are very American by loyalty, because you know we grew up here and we have more of that understanding. Like I've only lived in 2 countries in my life. I've only lived in Saudi for 3 years, and then the rest of it was in America. I visited like you know Bangladesh, but I've never lived there. So as a result, my loyalty really Saudi I don't remember, and I'm not a Saudi citizen. I never was, because to be a Saudi citizen, your father and your grandfather both have to be Saudi Arabian also, and my dad is Bangladeshi, so that destroys my ability to become Saudi. But the United States also is very different, right? So if you are born here, automatically you're American. Doesn't matter if your father is dead, if your mother is, you know, your mother is missing after you're born. If you're born here, you're an American. So that's why it's very difficult for people in the U.S. when I tell them I'm born in Saudi, they immediately assume, okay, so this guy is Saudi. Like, no, I'm not.
My
Bangladesh.
nephew is mixed Japanese and German. Then
Yeah.
he 2 nationalities so far.
Both 2 of them, yeah. I have 2 as well. I'm Bangladeshi and American. So if I go to, for example, a Muslim country where they don't like America, I use my Bangladeshi passport. You know, and they say they love me. You know, like I was in Turkey 2 weeks ago. Heidi knows about this. I was in Turkey. Everywhere I went, you know, Musliman, come brother, come. You know, and if I said like, I mean, you can say you're from America. They're going to ask you, brother, yani, why you went to Iraq? I'm like, I didn't go to Iraq, yani. I'm in America, yani. Like, what do you want me to say? You know, like I mean, like I'm just a kid, like, or not a kid, but 24 years old. Like, I was, I don't know, 10 years old when the war in Iraq started. 10, 12 years old when the war in Iraq started. I didn't vote for Bush. Wallahi, I did not vote for Bush, yani. Like I don't like the guy, okay? So, and that's the situation. I mean, so having 2 nationalities, Heidi, to get back to your original question, because I'm making all these jokes, it's fun. I think it gives you a lot of perspective in knowing more about the world. I mean, I think your nephew is very fortunate because Germany and Japan, 2 extremely good countries. I mean, 2 of the richest countries in the world, the largest economies. and he has the ability to live anywhere in Europe, being a German citizen, you know, and also Japan. I mean, he can travel anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Without any problems. For me, I have to switch, you know, uh, depending on where I go. Um, yeah. So Emmy, Omar Al Mukhtar, is this the guy that the movie?
Yes.
What was that movie called? Crap, I'm forgetting the name.
Uh,
It's a very good movie. It's a movie about Libya.
I forget also.
The Desert Fox or something. No, no, that's something else. That's something else. Desert Fox was a guy in the German army. Okay, I'll find it. Omar al-Mukhtar, Omar al-Mukhtar was a Libyan patriotic leader. What was Lion of the Desert? Lion of the Desert. It's about this guy. Great,
Yes.
great movie. Great movie.
Yes.
I highly suggest you guys watch it if you guys. Uh, so we have about a minute left of class, and I wanted to ask you guys. I mean, do you think this technological advancement for North Korea, right? So the fact that we have North Korea now has cell phones that they are openly producing. Is this going to cause greater change in North Korea? Maybe 5 years from now, things will be better for the people. Heidi, what do you think?
It's very difficult. The country is still closed to the world,
Mm-hmm.
and America set that country sanctions, so they can't get any food and any resources.
Yeah.
So
Proud to be Bangladeshi. Yeah.
I don't
For,
think that country will develop more.
for these conversations, yes, I am not going to say I'm American. You know, when America does something bad, I'm going to say, oh, okay. But no, I completely agree. Completely agree 100% that the situation is very difficult. What do you guys think? Emmy, do you think this
I
is a
think
sign of greater change?
yes. I think definitely it will be changed for maybe 5 to 10 years
Mm-hmm.
because the technology have hackers to break the programs, and when that will be spread in North Korea, I think
Mm-hmm.
they will find some ways to break the limitation and go around or go outside of the and take information from other ways, not in
Mm-hmm.
the not. Yes, it will be break. It will be they will break the limitation. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure
Yeah.
because I am confident with the technology. It's not. It's not. It's it's this is the best spot and the worst spot in the same line.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I'm sorry. I mean, best spot and the worst spot in the what? What was the last word?
In the same line of technology.
Oh, in the same line of technology. Yeah, yeah, right. Because this is the biggest advantage and the biggest disadvantage, right?
Yes.
So technology is a double-edged sword. See you later, Osama. Have a good one. So yeah, technology is a double-edged sword, right? They have different situations. Like if you can use it for bad, you can use it for good, and you can always change things, right? You can
Yes, and
hack.
the hackers and break the rules for the technology and for the codes. I'm programmer, so I know that stuff.
Oh,
I
you're a
know that
programmer. That's
anyone
awesome.
can fetch for some spots, some dark codes and mix it with others and spoil or fetch for something to go out.
Hmm. Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
can't close you can't limitation the codes.
So maybe what will happen is I also agree with Heidi that we can never be completely sure what this North Korea does because it is such a crazy country. I mean, in terms of how closed off it is and the political situation is so uncertain, right? But I do
It will
agree
take
that
time.
it will take
Yes,
time. Yeah.
yes, it will take time. But I think they are not so clever
Hmm.
to because they don't have the um, uh, experience
Are
for
they not?
that.
They're not ingenious enough.
Yes, they are not ingenious enough. I am sure for that.
Uh-huh. Maybe in the next couple of years, if somebody becomes ingenious, if there are ingenious North Koreans, then maybe they will try to break these codes and do some additional things, right?
Yes, don't forget that a lot of tourists came to North Korea. They are not from United States, but they have enough information about the technology. So I think the people there have more information about the programming or uh, application stuff more than
Software, yeah,
the
all the
government.
software.
Yes, more
Yeah,
than the government
and I think
until
it's
now.
and I think it's also very interesting because any society can never be 100% closed off. People are leaving North Korea. People are actually escaping North Korea, and they do that by bribing Chinese, North Korean guards, Chinese guards at the border, right? So
Yes.
smuggling is definitely happening, right? In a country like North Korea where you have so little technology, definitely there is some degree of smuggling, black market, I mean, if you have money, you can get it, right? I think that's kind of the rule anywhere in the world. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you happen to be in North Korea or the United States. If you have money, you can get something, right? Um, you can get what you want. So it might be more difficult, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how this affects. If it might not even be something that takes off, honestly. I mean, this might be something the government is using as a propaganda. Like, listen, we have cell phones, smartphones on the same level as America now. We are making our own smartphones.
Yeah,
You know?
he want to say so. We have same technology as
Hmm.
America.
Could be propaganda. Could be 100% propaganda.
I think
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
What's the propaganda? I don't know.
propaganda is propaganda is saying, for example, spreading messages, spreading communication about, for the sake of, this is a very good question. I don't actually know how to define it. Let me look it up. I'll ask Sheikh Google. If I go to, okay, propaganda is a form of communication that is aimed towards influencing the attitude of the community, right?
kind of
So,
advertisement of their idea or
yeah, it can be an advertisement, absolutely, right? So McDonald's does propaganda by talking, every time you see a McDonald's ad and they show the 720p HD view of the burger and the French fries and everything is delicious and only $1.99, right?
Yes,
$1.99.
I
That's
agree.
propaganda, 100%. But governments do propaganda all the time, right? Companies do
Yes,
propaganda all the time. So this is what we're saying with North Korea. This is a big cult. It's a way for the leader to say, "Oh, look at this. We are a great nation. We have smartphones that we are making ourselves, just like America. America makes iPhone. We make Arirang or whatever." So fantastic, guys. Do we have any more questions about this article? I know it's probably very early in Saudi still. You guys want to sleep. And Heidi, I'm sure you have a busy day ahead of you. Um, any other questions, guys? Anything that we talked about today?
no questions.
No questions? Thanks, Heidi. Emmy, we're okay? Okay, fantastic. Really glad to be in class once again, guys. I have
thank
3
you.
hours of classes on Saturday nights as usual. So tomorrow I have 2 hours. I have 2 classes tomorrow, so feel free to join. It'll be very fun to have you guys again, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty,
Thank you
take care,
very much.
guys. Goodbye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Or, if they each have their own phone, are this independent? You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't
And
know.
that's have we heard a lot of stories about that, especially in the games online now. So the children he can play with foreign people or someone he don't know. So and there is a chatting with the game all the time. I think most of games are like this.
Hmm.
So uh, even the kids lying about her or his age. So he meeting older people, and this is dangerous for them also.
Hmm. Absolutely. I play those games. Okay, I play those games, but I'm 24. Like, I started playing those games when I was, I don't know, 15. And sometimes I lied too. Like, yeah, I'm 18, and I bought I was able
Yes,
to play
but
the game.
their ages are
11,
older.
10.
Yes, they are 9,
Wow.
7. Yes, because they don't by chance or by they use it or they contact with people they don't know.
Hmm.
And the most problem that I think the mothers can't play the games, so and the parents cannot use the games, so they don't know what's going with their
Yeah,
children.
the parents have no way to know what's going on, right? Exactly.
Yes.
Because it's a
Last,
different world.
last year it became very big issue, and the game maker offering the free game, it's
Hmm.
kind of fighting. Usually it's for free, but if they buy some special tool, they're getting stronger. Then they wanted to show their special tool to other friend. Then children bought a lot of things. Finally, a charge came to parents. Parents were very surprised.
Hmm. Yeah, it's sad. People don't really understand the level of information. You guys, um, is it something? So, when did cell phones become popular in Saudi? I mean, did they become popular maybe 5, 6 years ago, or more recently?
No, I think five. It's far from 5, 6 years. I think it's
Maybe 10?
yes, in 19s. I think there was cell phones, and I think there's a rich people here, so they use the cell phones. I think before Americans.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, some people, fewer people use it in 19s, but it spread in 2000.
Hmm. Yeah, I think definitely the international boom in cell phone usage happened kind of around the turn of the century. So the 2001 mark, it was getting more affordable, and I think by 2003 it became very affordable. So even in countries like Bangladesh and India, in Bangladesh right now, right, we are considered an extremely poor country, right? I mean, uh, always having trouble with the economy and things like that. There are people like, very, very, very poor people, even they can afford a cell phone.
Yes,
It's
that's the
dirt
problem.
cheap. It's dirt cheap now. I mean, you can get a phone, you can get credit, you can have a, conversation with anybody. So everybody is interconnected now, even in
Yes,
a society like Bangladesh.
I
So,
remember I was in 2000, I think. My sister live in United States. I tell her about the new phones, cell phones. She said, I don't buy it, I will not use it. Why you buy these cell phones? She can't send SMS on it. It was so hard for her. She said, I just hold it in my car for emergency calls.
Hmm.
I think no, we are in Saudi Arabia. Yes, use it before.
The cell phone because people using cell phones are quite rude. I thought so.
Hmm.
In a coffee shop, suddenly they started talking very loudly.
Uh-huh. That's
Uh,
something
are
that,
uh,
yeah,
are
go
the
ahead.
children also
So
use
at that
it?
time, I hated that cell phone. Still now, I hate a cell phone. I don't want to have that.
I mean, go ahead.
Uh,
You're asking a question, yeah.
I want to ask her, are the children there also have cell phones by uh, own cell phones for themselves? Heidi?
No, I can't understand your question.
You can ask it again, Emmy. Let's ask it one more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ask you about the children there in Japan. Do they have cell phones? Do they own cell phones for themselves also, like us here?
I'm sorry.
No,
But
Heidi. So she's asking, are the kids in Japan? Do they each have their own cell phones, iPads, and stuff? Is it just like in her country? Because Emmy said that in Saudi Arabia, even the children have their own iPads now and their own cell phones. Is that the same case in Japan?
yeah, I think so. There
I
are
think
sometimes they happen a kidnap case, so parents are afraid of that.
parents are afraid of their kids getting kidnapped because of
Yes,
iPads.
yeah. So it has a kind of a GPS function, right? So
Yeah.
people want to know where their kids is now.
It's actually a very dangerous thing when you give technology like that to children because, I mean, you don't really know what the kids are accessing or what they are learning. And, I mean, the internet is a free world, right? I mean, so many things are available, and I feel like there's limited control of what the kids would see. It's a little dangerous. I mean, I think maybe parents should be more cautious of what they give their kids and the people that maybe their kids are talking to when they're online and connecting with when they're.
Hello,
How's it going?
I'm fine.
Good to
It's
see you.
the morning. It's not sunshine yet.
Sabah al khair.
I pray Fajr and enter the Kalingo.
Uh-huh. That's great. I've been bed. I haven't even prayed Maghrib yet, and it's time for Isha already.
Oh,
I had 3 back-to-back classes, so I'm going to pray after, I guess.
okay.
Yeah, it's good to see you there. How was your day yesterday? Did you do anything interesting?
Mm. Actually, I take a lot of Kalingo classes yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and then I feel a headache, so I go to sleep several hours.
Uh-huh.
So I was waking in early time. I think I am early wake from since 1 a.m. until now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, and so you've been up for like 6 hours, maybe 5 hours.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time. You don't feel tired right now?
No. After your class, I will go to sleep.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. That's great. So, yeah, Emmy, have you met Heidi before?
Yes, I think. Hi, Heidi.
Yeah, twice maybe.
Yes, twice.
What time?
Fantastic.
What time is it?
What time?
Yes,
What time did I meet you?
yes, your place.
She
Yes.
wants.
Now, this place is just noon, 12. So I wonder What time is it in your place?
Yes, it's 6 a.m. already now.
6 a.m.
Yes.
Oh,
6 hours
Yes,
behind you
because
guys.
yes.
I'm sorry, Emmy, go ahead.
I didn't. I just wanna tell her that I didn't get sleep until now. So after the class, I will go to sleep.
Great. So today, actually, we're going to give a couple more minutes, but I'm always fascinated when we talk about technology. It's one of the things that I love to talk about with people.
Normal Americans in United States.
Hmm. Yeah, even in the 90s, I remember my father's first cell phone was maybe this big,
Yes.
right? You couldn't fold it, you couldn't do anything. It was just like a large phone, and he kept it in the car. He kept it in the car for emergencies.
Yes, and he's so expensive.
Yeah.
The first cell phone was 100 reals. No, it's 1,000 reals, and that's why multiply it with 3.7 now for dollars. It's huge. It's so expensive.
Yeah. And now, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? It's like even kids have cell phones.
Yes, and iPads. A lots of I think in Saudi Arabia because it's a rich country. The little kids have iPads. I don't have iPad, but the little boys, yes, they have, and not all sharing one device. Everyone have one.
They each have their own.
Yes.
MashaAllah. This is the new generation here. So they are, even before they learn how to write, they are learning how to type.
Yes, and the little babies now it's use the finger to the screens and open YouTubes and something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes.
I remember when I was growing up, we had things called pen and
Yes.
paper, you know. I
Cup.
think, yeah, these kids don't even know what a pen is. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Heidi,
Yes.
is it the same in Japan? When did cell phones become popular? You guys, I think, invented cell phones. Maybe it was always there.
yes, it's more already many years ago, about 15 years ago. Japan created some cell phone, but Motorola sued that company to the court, infringement of copyright.
Mm-hmm.
Then we Japanese people used to that from that time, but it was getting popular around 10 years ago. But I hate